Hi, and a great big warm welcome to episode 12, season 2 of the Ask Zofie podcast. I feel like I say this every week, but I'm really excited. So that was my chair. If you heard that noise, I think it's done that before. It's definitely my chair. I hold my hands up. You do that thing. I'm going to do that thing where I try and make the chair make the same sound again now, and it's like it won't happen. Anyway, I am talking about one of my most favorite things to talk about today, which is manifesting stuff. Obviously, everything really that I speak to is mindset and manifestation. But yeah, I'm sharing kind of like an advanced concept or ideas relative to manifesting because it is spoken about so commonly, so widely nowadays. There's also a lot of misunderstanding, and it's very kind of, there are many different levels and layers to it. It's not as simple in some ways as it might seem, but in other ways it's simpler at the same time. It's this kind of paradox. But I have been studying law of attraction, manifestation, all this stuff for about 20 years. And like I've said before, I have an obsessive personality. So when I'm into something, I'm really into it. And there's nothing really that I'm more into than this topic. So I can't wait to share what I'm going to share on today. Before I do that, behind the scenes, okay, what am I going to say? I am recording. This is the second recording I've done today. I've said this before, but this is about as batch contenty as I get, but I do 2 podcasts in a row, which always confuses me. But yesterday, so as you're listening, if you're listening kind of relatively soon after I put this out, this will be last weekend. Have you ever had this thing where you get like a favorite shade of, like for me, it's lipstick, and I'm really fussy, well, full stop, but about the lipstick that I wear. And Laura freaking Mercier made this perfect color. And the same thing happened with Bobbi Brown before. And I love, love, love it. And then they go and discontinue it. Anyway, this happened with my favorite shade of Laura Mercier. And I managed to find some on eBay, I think it was, and got some shipped to my sister in America. Hi, Libby, if you're watching or listening, by the way. And then I found another bunch that got sent to me, but obviously they're not going to last forever. But I was looking online and saw that Gucci did this lipstick, and I was like, they do loads of nudes, and that's my vibe. And I've been waiting for them to open their concession in Harrods Beauty in Bristol, which they have done. And yesterday I went with Daniel and Yara, my daughter, and we were looking around, and I looked in there for the first time. And anyway, for the first time, so I'm so excited to telling you this. I can't get my words out. But I bought my first, I'm showing you, obviously you can't see this if you're just listening, but my first Gucci lipstick is in a really, they're not paying me to do this, by the way, to get to my 30 listeners. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It's in this beautiful gold case, and it's the perfect freaking color for me. So I'm really excited. I can't remember what it's called, actually. I can't read it. I feel like an old lady, when they sort of hold stuff away and they put their glasses on. What is it called? Don't know. If you really like nudes, lip color, that is. Oh, hang on. Lorna, I don't know what it's called, but I'll be able to read it later. If you, like me, are obsessed with that kind of nude lip color and you want to know, ask me. Anyway, that was the excitement of my weekend, was getting this new lipstick. And also I have a piece of tinfoil beneath me because the lighting is pants in my kitchen and it's quite dark today, so it's to brighten me up. So you might think it all looks pro, but there's my, probably from Lidl or Home Bargains, kitchen foil beneath me. So if you kind of hear this noise, that's me messing with the kitchen foil. And also, this is equally not a paid advert because I don't think I'm quite at that level yet. This is my absolute favorite drink. I don't know if you can see it. I get it from Ocado, Good Earth kombucha. After I had COVID, people said to me, have kombucha and kefir, and I got, well, I was going to say mildly obsessed, but obsessed with this. Is my absolute favorite. What flavor is it? Pomegranate and blueberry. Anyway, you don't want to hear me chatting about all my favorite things. I feel like Oprah, when she does her favorite things. Anyway, I think I need to just like rein my head in and just remember who I am. So let me do a pitch from Love Notes. Before I get into what have I called today's episode, manifesting tips on steroids, aka they're pumped, because what I'm going to speak to today is advanced level. It isn't something that everyone will be talking about, or certainly not that everyone gets, and it will really up level. It will really shift things as and when you can get it to click into place and actually understand it. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to pick us a page from Love Notes. I've still got my paperback version that I had last week, because obviously that was just earlier this morning. Oh, hopefully you're probably not confused by it. It's just me that's confused. All right, let me see what comes up. I'll never break your heart. That's never me. It's a really simple one. I haven't seen that for ages, actually. I'll never break your heart. That's never me. I think that's what it said. I put it away so I can't remember now. But again, this speaks to when you're not getting what you want. I always say this: if what you want isn't sort of forthcoming, it's only ever because you're out of alignment generally or relative to that thing. Like, you could be in a pretty good feeling place, but you've got these kind of like chinks in your armor, as it were, relative to the specific thing that you're wanting to manifest. Or it's because your soul, God, the universe, whatever, is guiding you to something bigger, better, more, or it's not divine timing yet. And divine timing isn't your business. The fact that there's something better might be on the horizon isn't your business. The only bit that's your business is, are you in alignment? Are you working on your belief systems and your stuff, and so on and so forth? That's the only thing you ever need to be mindful of. Okay, the mind will distract you into like, when's it coming? How's it going to get here? I can't see how it's going to happen. That's all irrelevant. The bit for you to focus on is how you're showing up, how you're being, how you're doing. I feel like I want to reminding myself of Joey from Friends then. Should I do a terrible impersonation? How you doing? Is that how he did it? How you doing? Anyway, let's move on from that quickly. Do you know, I don't drink caffeine, by the way. So, someone left me a voice note this morning and I was like, whoa, he's had his morning coffee. And you might think the same of me. Yeah, I don't drink much alcohol and I don't drink caffeine. This is just me excited about life on a Monday morning. Anyway, as always, as ever, I freaking digress. So, manifesting tips on steroids, aka they're pumped. Are you ready? Can I get a hell yes? So, okay, I'm just trying to read my, if I could read my writing, I'd share with you what I'm going to share with you. Okay, yeah. So, hands up if you've ever, quote unquote, got into the vibe before you sent an email or made a call or did whatever the thing was you wanted to do. So this is spoken about quite a bit in the manifestation world. Like when you, like say it was me in my job. So I'm sending out my a newsletter to everyone on my mailing list or whatever. And ultimately what I want is for someone to convert some of those people into clients or whatever, you know, sell them a book or whatever it might be. So it's like, yeah, like dance around the kitchen and put on some happy music and get your energy high, which if I remember I'll talk about in a second, because you don't need to get your energy high. I'm doing air quotes, by the way, for the benefit of those of you who are just listening, and because you want to get some kind of result from it. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. If you're not in my kind of field, what would it be? It might be that you're going on a date and you really want it to go well. So you're like, yeah, I'm going to dance around my bedroom. I'm going to get feeling really good. It could also be, say you want to get pregnant and you do this whole thing like before you do the thing that you do to get pregnant. Have sex. Can I say that on my podcast? I've said it now. So anyway, you get yourself like feeling really good before you go feel really good. Oh Lord, well, how do I get myself in these holes? So that sounds terrible now. Anyway, right, let me move on. I keep needing to move on these podcasts. I think I need someone with me to like whack me or rein me in. I shouldn't be left to my own devices. At least hopefully listening to me babbling on makes you feel better about yourself and the fact that you're perhaps, I don't know, more mature, more whatever it is than I am. Anyway, hands up if you have ever done this, and if you're into manifesting, you probably will have. And what I first want to say is you haven't done anything wrong. You're not a bad person. You haven't messed up like my podcast last week. You haven't failed. You're not wrong, whatever it might be. But anytime you do this kind of thing where basically you're visualizing to try and affect change, or you're getting into the vibe in order to create something, okay, there is a flaw at the basis of why you are doing this that is working against you, that I want to talk about. But before I do that, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Yes, that was it. Yes, I've remembered it. Okay, great. So when people say, I'm going to lift my vibe, I'm going to get myself high vibing, again, this has a flaw in the premise of it, which is the idea that you need to raise yourself up. The truth is that unless you are doing something to dampen your mood, your energy, to bring your vibe down, it will naturally be high. And so I was talking about this with the father of one of my clients, children I'm working with at the moment, how my analogy with kids is, imagine your happiness like a squishy ball, and it's really squishy and really bouncy. When you squish this ball that metaphorically is your happiness, you squish your happiness, you don't feel good. Like you might go, I hate my sister, I hate school, I'm tired, I wish I didn't have to go to swimming, which is one of the most common ones. As soon as you metaphorically stop squishing because someone says, do you want a Kit Kat? Or I don't know, you get shown a funny dance on TikTok, your ball, metaphorically speaking, oh no, I'm talking about balls again. How's this happened? Third week on the bounce, pardon the pun. Okay, so your ball bounces back out. And like Abraham Hicks say, relative to adults, if you imagine your well-being being like a cork bobbing on a body of water, you don't need to make a cork float. It will naturally float. Your vibe is naturally high, but what we do is we dumb it down, we dull it down, we bring it down with worrying, with, like I was talking about last week, putting pressure on ourselves, with asking, how's my stuff going to get here? Putting tension basically into the mix. So as soon as you stop doing that thing that you're doing, it will naturally rise back up. It will naturally, speaking of that ball, bounce back out. This is why there's so many crazy things that people get involved in that ultimately are just distractions. This is why you start running and you don't feel like it, and then 10-20 minutes in you suddenly go, oh yeah, I've got, I'm into it now. It's because you've distracted yourself typically for long enough that your vibe is able to kind of bounce back, to rise back up. And so you feel the natural good feelingness that is omnipresent within you. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Okay, so get back to my point. When you're doing this, when you're like, getting your energy up, or you're sending out positive intentions with your email, again, it's not wrong or it's bad, but you're missing a major piece, a major part of the puzzle, and getting in your own way. And this is why. There is a big difference. Sorry if you're watching, but I'm checking my notes. There is a big difference between knowing that everything you've ever asked for, or something even better, that's always the caveat, is a sure thing. Your success is inevitable. All your prayers have already been answered. And doing whatever it is to align yourself energetically with that, doing your bit, as I think of it, there's a big difference between that and what I was just talking about, which is dancing around the kitchen feeling happy to try and make it happen. Let me say that again, because it's freaking mahoosive, okay? There is a big difference, the world of difference. It's poles apart between knowing that everything you want, always and ever, or something even better, is a sure thing. Your success is inevitable. All your prayers have been answered, and doing your bit to make sure you're in alignment so that you're not the one blocking it. It's only ever you who blocks your stuff. Always, always, always. And doing things to try and make it happen. Now, the former is born of faith and trust and knowing and alignment with your higher self, which permits the stuff that you want to come through. The latter comes on the back of you not having faith and not really believing. So you could be taking the same action. You could be dancing around feeling good because you're like, I'm doing my bit. This is my piece of the equation. You could be doing that thinking, right, I've got to get into the good energy because this is how I affect the change. Same action, different energy, way different results. So just, okay. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from A Course in Miracles is, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. I've spoken about this so many times and I'll continue speaking about it because I'm so passionate about it. It's so helpful, like I say all the time, so helpful. And I'm here to be helpful. So in my defenselessness, my safety lies. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words again because I'm so blooming excited. But in my defenselessness, my safety lies speaks to, when A Course in Miracles talks about defenses, what it means is you, little human you, like sometimes I talk about how I have this idea of big me and little me. And big me is, you know, the expansive source energy, God part of me. Little me is the human part of me. And little me is that kind of like, is the mind and is judging, and we all have this, okay? But defenses are what the human you, us, do to try and make things happen. So when you don't really have faith, you micromanage, you future trip, you kind of like super organize what's going to happen. And really, when you're doing these things, what you're saying to the universe is, I don't have faith. And when you're in this energy and you're putting out this message, you're therefore cutting yourself off from that part of you that brings in the magical and the miraculous, the very part of you, the wise part of you that has all the answers, like I say, that you're tuned into when you're aligned. Whereas when you say, I don't know how this is going to happen, I don't even know if this specific thing is going to happen or if it's going to be something better. I don't know when it's going to be. I know it's going to be in divine timing. I know that, like Einstein said, the most important decision you make is whether or not you believe the universe is friendly. I know the universe has my back. I know the universe is friendly. So I don't have to think about that. I just surrender. I'm not surrendering that thing that I want it, because you can't not want what you want, but I'm surrendering the care of it and the bringing of it to me, to the universe, and the how and the when. I'm not surrendering that thing per se, but the specifics and all of the components that are the job of the universe to manage, not your job to manage. So when you're defenseless, you're just like, this is what I want and I have complete faith. I trust you, to the universe, to your higher self, to God. It's over to you. Then you might dance around because you know that you feeling good means that you're aligned with it, but you're not dancing around to try and I've got to make this happen. That's not your job. So I want to give you an example here. I've been talking about how I am in the process of selling my home and buying a flat. And a couple of weekends ago, before I had received an offer on my home and had been able to make a proceedable offer on the flat, I wanted to make sure that I was energetically not blocking myself. And I could feel my mind wanted to get attached to the flat and, if I don't get it, this, that, and the other. So I sat down and I wrote a list of, if I don't get the flat, what I'm going to do to my home to make the best of it. And I wrote this list to get myself into the energy of happy if it happens, happy if it doesn't. Because this is soul energy. Soul energy will make the best of any situation, doesn't push against anything, is invariably embracing of whatever's in front of you. So I know that it's all in God's hands. I have complete faith that what's meant to be will be, but I know that I can block it if I get all tense. I don't want to be doing that. So I wrote this list of all the things I would do to my home if the flat didn't come about. I wasn't doing this to try and get the flat. I want the flat. If that's what's in my highest good, I feel like it is, this is me speaking about myself a couple of weeks ago. I feel like it is, but I don't know for sure, because I don't have that vision that God has, that my soul has, that source energy has. I feel like it is, but who knows? I trust. I see the universe as this most loving parent that knows more than me. Okay, that has full perspective on the situation. I'm not trying to get the flat. I'm not writing this list to get myself into the energy. I'm not trying to manipulate the energy. There's no ulterior motive. I write this list so that I'm making peace, because being at peace, again, is that soul energy, soul aligned energy. And that energy is magnetic to all the things that you desire and is allowing in those things that you want. So I wrote this list, and there was no ulterior motive. That's the thing. You don't want to be trying to manipulate. You don't want the ulterior motive. You can't take these laws and go, yeah, I'm going to work it this way. That's not how it happens. That's not how you really manifest. You might be making things happen. That's not conscious manifesting. That's not working in this union with the universe and having complete faith. And as a sort of aside, but it's really helpful anyway, the Monday morning post this, I just felt, I want the flat, but I don't need it. I'd be really happy, but I don't need it. I'm fine either way. Soul energy, I'm fine either way. Like that mantra that I've talked about loads of times that I used when I was getting divorced, and there were so many unknowns, and I was like, I'll make this work for me. If you say you've got to live in this shoebox, I'll make that work for me. If you say you've got to live in a different area, I'll make that. If you say you've got this amount, I will make it work for me. That's your soul energy. And then moments after I was by my window in my bedroom, I thought, yeah, I want the flat. I don't need it. Golden energy. The estate agent rang me and went, they're going to make an offer. I was like, no surprise. I'm not surprised. And of course, it could have gone the other way. It could have said, they're not. And then it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's someone else, or maybe there's something better. That's the thing, is making peace with what is. So the big difference is not doing these things, meditating, clearing your energy, shifting your beliefs, saging yourself, I don't know, doing some full moon ritual, whatever it might be. There's so many different things, obviously, that you can do to work with your energy, not doing it to make stuff happen. This isn't what I would call like conscious manifesting. Conscious manifesting is you working with higher self, you leaning into this faith, you knowing that the universe is taking care of all the details. Your job is to do your bit, to keep managing those unhelpful beliefs that you've got that are blocking you, and staying in alignment, consistently getting into alignment. That's it. But you're not doing it to try and make stuff happen. That is the clincher. That is what makes this a fundamental difference. I really hope that this makes sense. Let me know if you're like, oh, I just don't get it, or my God, yes, I get it, Zofie. Ultimately, it comes down to, let's just say, what's my second favorite F word, which is faith. Keep cultivating, keep drip feeding this desire to have faith, to know. Like, I've reached this place where I have such trust in the universe. Whatever happens, I'm not like going to be crying over it. Like, I might have a moment where, oh, I thought that was going to work out, but no, because I have such a connection and a bond and a love of, appreciation of, and faith in the divine. There's no question that essence is anything other than loving towards me, towards you, towards everyone. So why would I think that? Why would I think that? Like that Byron Katie thing that I bang on about, that just hit me like a ton of bricks when she said it. The moment I don't get what I want, I immediately think it must be something better, because God is not a masochist. God is not mean. So that level of trust is just like, stuff happens, but it hits different. You know, things quote unquote go wrong, but you don't freak out in the same way, because you don't start to question, like go into this existential freaking angst about stuff. Because you know that there's a rhyme and a reason to everything. There's a purpose, and sometimes you're out of alignment and you can fix that. Sometimes you're not. And so there must be something, you must be being guided to something even better for you. But yeah, you're not trying to make stuff happen. That's not your job, and that's not manifesting. That's like efforting, that's working. And there is sometimes work to be done, as in, steps to be taken, but these are about getting you in the energy to let it in. I really hope that makes sense. I really hope that helps. As ever, thank you so much for watching or listening. I will be back next week. Next week, I am going to talk about how I manifested that whole thing with the flat, because I said this last week. Can't wait to share on that topic. So many nuggets in there. Hopefully you'll learn a lot from and take a lot from that story, and what I did with my energy, and then what flowed in on the back of that, because that's really the way I'm thinking about, is it Punch and Judy? That's the way to do it. Was it Punch and Judy that said that? And wasn't that like really, like, I don't know, racist and sexist and all sorts of awful things? That's what, if you're my sort of age, we grew up with. Anyway, maybe it explains a lot. But there's a way to do these things that's really effective. And I definitely don't do it all the time. And I've definitely had plenty of times where I've not done it. But yeah, I really want to share that experience with you. Thank you so much. Have an awesome rest of your day. If you've had any light bulb moments, or like really enjoyed parts of this or any of it, or someone that would benefit, please share, pop it on your social media and tag me, like I always say, because I don't know otherwise and I can't thank you. And I'll be back next week, sending you so much love. Bye for now.